What's up, everyone? It's Chicks in the Office with Rhea and Fran, giving you that Friday energy on a Wednesday. We are back again with another Bachelorette recap. We got Franny in the building. I was going to come up with a nickname, there's nothing cooking in the head right now. Absolutely nothing. We also got Trent, who is back from a long day of golfing once again. So let's get into it, the Bachelorette recap.
How are we feeling? How are we feeling about this season?
Confused after last night.
I'm confused too.
Would be the word that I would use. Justin in particular. Confused about Justin.
Well, I kind of want to just pick up right where we left off last week, and all of us saying we were not really sure what the hell was going to happen this season, and the predictions that we made, I think they are already wrong.
Yeah, because we thought Michael was setting
himself home.
That didn't happen.
Nope.
Michael's not going to hometowns because they're not actually going to hometowns. But I feel like we now have no idea what direction this is going in because of Justin.
Yeah,
like we'll get to that point.
Curveball.
But it threw everyone for a loop because you're almost like, what is Katie actually feeling at this point? Who does she really like?
And the ones that she really likes, are they going to stay? We don't know.
She seems to think that Greg is going to leave.
Everyone was shocked that Greg got this one-on-one, including Greg. His face, he wasn't really showing any emotion. I think he had no idea that he was going to get this second one-on-one when Brendan and Mike P had not gotten one yet. I would think they all sat around and they were like, hey, logically, let's... Brendan, Mike P, they're probably going to get the one-on-ones. We'll all be on the group date. However, it went to Greg, which had to make Greg feel pretty confident.
Greg seemed embarrassed by the one-on-one date card because he thought Mike or Brendan were going to get it, but instead it's Greg. It's a second one-on-one. Yeah, he's got to feel good. I don't know how he feels. I never know how Greg feels. Right. I think he's into Katie. I think everything is going really well. Katie is very into Greg.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it goes both ways, but getting a second one-on-one date when other guys haven't even had one, it's got to make you feel pretty good.
Definitely. I can't imagine that Greg doesn't know that Katie really likes him. I think that the second one-on-one confirmed that. And like you said, Trent, it's very hard to read him. It's like he's saying all the right things, and he's saying the right things to Katie, that he really likes her and all that. But sometimes you just can't really feel it.
Well, that's why I kind of think Greg is a phony, and I think this goes back to the whole acting thing that we talked about in the beginning of the season, and it was like, oh, is it a red flag that he went to acting school? We kind of brushed it off. I think that he may have been somebody that went on the show thinking, I won't make it too far, and now he's reached a point where he's like, oh, shit, she really likes me. And I think the fact that Katie keeps bringing up, don't leave, don't leave. She thinks he's going to leave is only going to push him away more and make him think about leaving more.
Yeah. They had a very silly, fun date where I don't even really remember what they were doing. Is just playing around. They were on the football field.
Oh yeah.
Played football.
That horrible football field.
Yeah.
Looked like if you got tackled on that field, you'd be in trouble.
Well, it was, and I saw
Dylan and Luke P.
Yes, I saw a few tweets about this too. That it was
Never forget.
look at
Noah's favorite
clip. Look at I think.
I hope you put it just up here during this.
We will.
New Mexico has been dealing with some droughts.
Yeah,
and that field would reflect that. And then I saw a bunch of people tweeting nothing like New Mexico having some problems with droughts, and the producers just...
Fake rain.
Just absolutely an unbelievably reckless use of water.
Yep.
Fake rain.
I like where you're going with this.
Yeah, so it was look at the field. You can tell that field is parched.
Put that water in the ground.
That field was parched.
Put that water in the ground.
And they just drenched these two in rain for who knows how long. But... they talked at dinner, and like you guys said, Katie voiced again that she just wants to reassure him, make sure that he's okay, knows that she's clearly afraid that he's going to leave. That's not a good sign.
No. And do we think Greg has his eyes on being the Bachelor, or he just wants to be famous?
Probably both. I think Nick Viall tweeted this too. He said hot take. Greg is just Thomas doing a better job at I botched what he said, but basically saying Greg is just Thomas, but doing what Thomas wished he did, you know? Like going far and like doing well and being like charismatic and having the fans love him and like going far on the show, but then like secretly just wanting to be the Bachelor.
Because Greg was just focused on having a relationship with Katie and not with the other guys in the house. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of that was just a lot of drama in the house, whereas like Greg is not really having any drama.
Yeah. And I mean, this does happen a lot. So it's not totally specific to this case. And I'm not 100% positive on this. I could be wrong, but I think Greg was on the initial cast for Claire and Tayshia for Claire's season.
Oh, really?
I think. I'm not positive. I could be making that up, but there were a few that were on that list for Claire's season but got cut because they were too young, or you know, they needed older guys for Claire, so they subbed some people out. So
he's just been knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Let me on this show. I don't care who it is.
I don't know. And I guess we're going to have to see how this whole thing goes. Can I say that all three of us don't think that if this is Greg at the end of this, they'll be engaged?
No. Yeah, they won't be.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. So
I think Greg's leaving.
I think that's pretty
I don't
telling.
even think Greg is making it all the way to the end. Or maybe he does make it to the end and he leaves and then Katie's only stuck with one option.
Right. It could be like a proposal, panic, departure.
If you're going to leave now.
For sure. Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Like, that's why I definitely thought Michael was leaving.
It brings me back to Desiree's season, which I don't know if you watched, Trent.
That doesn't sound... I don't think so.
But her top two... what the hell was his name? Brooks? I think it was Brooks. He left. And it was like, he was so by far the favorite.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, I mean, this guy, come on. They had the connection. It seemed like that was the thing. And then when it came down to it, he was like, I'm not ready for this. I'm leaving. And Chris, the other guy, proposed. Yeah. And she said yes. And they're married and have like
they're
kids.
Still married?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Awkward.
Yes. So yeah, but I'm saying like
I would think about that my entire marriage.
Yes. Yeah. As much as it seems so bizarre, it has been something that has happened before.
But like if you have doubts, leaving before hometowns and then leaving before fantasy suites, leaving before potentially being in a situation where you have to propose, like you
I think people
now.
really want to make it to fantasy suites though, because I can see them talking to like telling themselves in their head, just get to fantasy suites, we'll have the whole night, no cameras, like we can actually really talk and
also,
see what happens.
A lot of times guys have no balls, even though they got them, they don't have them, and they're afraid to speak up and say, I actually don't want to be here. So they wait till the absolute last minute, and they're like, all right, I gotta get out.
Happens in relationships in real life.
Yeah,
they're
true.
too afraid to break up with their girlfriends and turns into a disaster.
It's a spiral.
Yeah, exactly. So the date went swimmingly. Like the fake rain, like I said, they came out and it was just absolutely pouring around them, the make out in the rain. Very romantic as watching it in movies and seeing it in real life. It's not that nice. They faked it.
Yeah, I would never want to do that. That's like, rain is awful. Like, I just don't...
Getting stuck in rain is absolutely terrible.
Joe and I got caught in like a massive thunderstorm Saturday night, and like it ended up with us fighting. Like, it wasn't like Rhea was like, wow, did you at least have like a hot like make out in the rain? I'm like, no.
I don't even know why I asked that.
We were like drenched. Like, we were soaking wet. It was miserable.
Yeah, like I'd rather stroll in the snow than like make out in the rain.
For sure.
Beautiful snowfall make out.
Yeah. It's rain is
I'd rather snow over rain any day.
100%.
Also, it's warmer when it snows.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Nope.
Yeah.
Sometimes
clothes.
Hear me out. It could be the coldest winter day with no snow and it's fucking freezing.
Yeah.
When it snows, it's warmer out.
Yeah, it does.
I think you just like it. It's like more. It's prettier.
I think it's a mind thing, but I'm with you.
I think
agree
it
with
feels
you.
warmer.
I agree with you.
When it snows, it's warmer
when you
outside.
walk out and it's a beautiful snowstorm.
Scientifically false because it has to be below freezing for
scientifically correct, but it's the feeling when you walk outside and the snow's falling and you're walking to work and you're just like, oh man, this is ice. But when you walk outside, and it's 14 degrees and you're getting whipped around with like a wind chill and there's no snow. It's miserable.
It's miserable, but just like a nice slight snowfall, not
fluffy,
no wind.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Way better than Rain.
And a make out in that.
Way better. So Greg's in a great place. He got the rose. He's going to hometowns. They got the date card next. So this was big time moment of truth, right? Whoever was not on this date card was going to have the second one-on-one. So they go through the list. Michael, Blake, Justin, Andrew. Is that it?
Michael, Blake, Justin, Andrew.
Yeah, and then it was between Brendan and Mike P for that last spot. And obviously whoever didn't get it would get the one-on-one. And Brendan was on the date card. So Mike P knows he's getting the one-on-one. Brendan is like, why the fuck am I here? I'm going to go to hometowns. I haven't had one-on-one date, or like that's the next step. So I think he knew he was already toast. So he took the liberty to go visit Katie before the date even happened.
Well, I didn't even know he was still on the show. I had no idea.
I think people were baffled when they saw him being like such a focal point of the beginning of this episode. So many people on Twitter being like, who the heck is this
If
guy?
I had really been pressed on what his name was, I think I would have come up with Brandon. I think I maybe would have said Brandon, but he's had no like interesting parts of the show. He clearly hasn't had a one-on-one. He just happened to be on the couch. Like when they were panning, they were like kind of talking about like, oh, what's this week going to be like? Hometowns is coming. And then they panned to him. And I was like, I don't know who that guy is. And apparently Katie kind of forgot as well because
sure seemed like
no one-on-ones, no nothing. And she went and knocked on his door. Yeah. He went and knocked on her door. And then he put on that lip.
Come on, knock on our door.
We've been waiting for you.
You guys are saying that.
And a thing.
Yep. Three's company too. Yep. You just walked right into it. I couldn't.
I know. And I wish I knew it.
And from the top.
Yeah.
I wish I knew it because I just, I would have joined in.
He did. He knocked on her door and he'd had that quick lip balm. He didn't even really put it on.
Didn't get it around all the lip. He just kind of like dabbed his lips and was like, oh, maybe.
Thinking maybe. Just maybe they were going to make out.
Right. Like if all falls apart, I'm just going to make out with her.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe I'll get a kiss out of this because I know I'm going home. He had to have known if Greg's getting a second one-on-one and you're not even getting one, there's no shot you're going to hometowns. It's time to go. He went, he talked to Katie. Katie's like, yeah, don't see it. It's
I don't know who you are. Why don't you get the hell out of my hotel room?
You're obviously not going to go to hometowns.
He walks in, Katie's like...
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I tweeted last night that she was going to open the door and be like, no, I don't need any more towels. And slam the door in his face. It's like
that's fucking funny.
I just didn't recognize who that guy was, and I'm
really
surprised
funny.
Katie did.
It's so funny. And so we were not surprised that Katie was like, yeah, I understand. Like Katie was clearly planning to send him home during the rose ceremony. He just wanted to do it beforehand. Very fair. Get sent home. Now there's also kind of an interesting dynamic here because Blake and Brendan know each other, and they allegedly, I've just seen rumors of this, is that they did discuss this on the show and then they just cut it. So it's like, I guess maybe producers or whoever didn't feel the need to like make it a necessary storyline, probably because Brendan's so irrelevant.
Right. I was just thinking like, I wonder what goes into a decision to not show their friendship. But you just answered it like, he was like, well, he's a nobody.
Like usually when people know each other, they hate each other.
Yeah,
True.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
there's no rivalry
like,
to build up. It's like they're buddies.
They're just friends.
Yeah, like
Hockey
I think they
buddies.
played hockey together. Like it's just like they're actually
pals.
legit friends. I saw Blake replied to one of my tweets about it. About them knowing each other, and Blake said something along the lines of like, yeah, like because we like actually like each other. It's like they're legitimate friends.
Right.
You could kind of tell when Brendan came to say goodbye to everyone and told Blake he was leaving. It was like, bye, buddy, bye.
Yeah, you can't. Producers can't build anything off of genuine friendship.
Yeah, no, no. So they've just left it out completely. And Brendan left, and then we had a very erotic group date, which we will talk about right after this. Studying is always such a pain in the ass. Rhea and I didn't even make it the whole way. And Trent didn't either.
I did not.
Yep. So we are definitely not the ones that will be taking the MCAT or the LSAT. But if you out there are gearing up to take either of those tests, you gotta try Blueprint. Blueprint's test prep delivers life-changing score increases. On average, their students receive 11-point increases for the LSAT for you future lawyers out there, and 13-point increases for the MCAT for you future doctors. Yeah, that is a huge deal. Here's a shocking thing that they have learned over the years, that when you're bored, you don't retain information very well. Very shocking, I know. Blueprint was founded on the idea that test prep can actually be entertaining and effective. They use unique animations and memorable graphics plus humorous pop culture references to make your experience engaging and enjoyable. They also have the only dynamic study plan tool that creates your personalized study plan at the click of a button. Your plan will outline exactly what to study, when, evolve with your busy schedule, and sync to your phone so you stay on track. Plus, they only hire the best instructors and tutors. To teach for Blueprint, you must score in the 98th percentile or higher on an actual exam. They turn down over 90% of people who apply to teach for them, so you know you're getting the best of the best instructors. Blueprint has helped over 50,000 LSAT students and 60,000 MCAT students improve their scores. They have a 4.8 Trustpilot score. And even if you're not taking one of these tests, you should let your friends and family know about Blueprint. It will change their future for the better. Blueprint has an exclusive offer just for Chicks in the Office listeners. Blueprint rarely offers discounts this big, but for the first 100 listeners of our show who go to blueprintprep.com and use promo code CHICKS, you will receive 20% off. That's over $200 off your LSAT or MCAT class if you go to blueprintprep.com and use promo code CHICKS. Guys, if you have those friends in your life that are studying for this test, make sure you tell them about this deal right now. I know that I'm telling all my friends that are studying for a test like this that they gotta hop on Blueprint. Katie takes these gentlemen to a art exhibit, one might say, and we had a very funny moment with Blake. It was honestly, the paintings were beautifully done. Like they were massive, huge, and obviously, all the guys were giggling because they were flowers, looked like vaginas, the whole thing. And
classic guy stuff.
I laughed. I was on my couch. I was laughing. I was like, those things look like vaginas.
And of course, they put Blake Moynes in this position. It's just like
when you see boobs, you're just like, boobs.
Come on, that's hilarious.
Everyone's like boobs.
That shit is hilarious.
And I really feel like they set up this group date specifically for Blake Moynes. The entire date really surrounded around him. At least of the scenes
deviant
that they showed. They first showed the artist asking Blake, like, how do you interpret this one? And he was like, it's pretty chaotic, and like didn't you say like kind of nice things about it? And then the artist was like, that's actually my self-portrait. Blake was like,
it's
my bad.
Messy down there, huh?
Okay, all right,
clean it up.
She was like,
Susan.
Literally, I think he used the word chaotic. He was like, there's a lot of colors. Like it's like a lot going on. And then they were all tasked to come up with their own piece of art to describe their journey relationship with Katie. Michael, I think it was weird because he made a sculpture. It was blurred out.
Yeah.
It was called, like, they said that it was Katie's butt. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I didn't really get it. It was like he said the rear view or something was the name of the sculpture. And then one of the other guys was like, that's what he thinks that looks like. He's wrong. It was the whole thing was very bizarre. But I think that's what he meant to make.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, that's how weird it was.
Like, I don't even remember him making a sculpture. That's how...
It was a sculpture.
Has he seen a vagina?
It wasn't a vagina. I think he was making a sculpture of Katie's behind.
Oh, gotcha.
But it was black. It was blurred out, so I don't know. But that's what they alluded to.
They gotta show us this stuff.
I feel like they're just trying to build the hype more. Like the producers, like it could have been like totally normal, and they're like, let's just black it out and make people think he's
true.
I'll be honest. I'm starting to think more and more that the things they black out don't need to be blacked out. That they're just doing it because it gets the people talking.
I mean, the stuff they were looking at was pretty graphic. Like,
no, they're well, like that's art. That's like
no, I know, but I'm saying he would have done the same. Like, how good of a picture could he draw?
Right. It wasn't even it was a sculpture.
Oh, a sculpture.
I think you're right, Fran. I think
I think for sure.
They're just putting those black boxes everywhere.
Let me tell you, these network TV shows are pushing the limits these days. Like, you know what they're showing on Love Island on CBS? Like, straight up people having sex. Mm-hmm. Like big time.
It's like
moans, groans, all the
automobiles.
If anybody's watching this, if anybody's watching this season of Love Island and they're up to date, things are happening in the hideaway where like you're like, oh shit, it's like when
somebody swears and they bleep it and it's funnier. Right. Sometimes bleeps are funnier than the actual word.
Right.
And they're doing that with a black box.
There's no way Blake Moynes' piece of art, the entire thing needed to be blacked out.
They just did the whole thing.
The whole way.
No, there's adding to the Blake Moynes lore.
Exactly. And Justin painted a rose once again. That seems to be his specialty. And then a lot of stuff around it that didn't look that good.
He's a self-proclaimed painter.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
He got exposed.
And Andrew painted sushi, I think.
Well, actually, he painted with his left hand. Did you see that? He said that online.
Justin painted with his left hand?
Yeah, he said I had to make it fair.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw him. Yeah.
Now that would have been a good clarification because the outside of the painting looked like trash.
I still don't think he can paint.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe him.
Oh man,
that would be a good excuse for a guy who said he can paint but he can't actually
Roses
paint.
are seem to be his specialty though. That is what he showed up with night one of the painting of the rose as well.
I mean, then he painted that masterpiece later on.
Exactly. Blake Moynes is getting into a tough spot here. Once again, blurred out. Maybe one day we'll find out what it was. Maybe we won't. But all these guys wanted to talk to Katie.
We have to find out what Blake Moynes is painting.
We have to.
We're too close with him.
He'll show us.
Yeah. Like I tweeted him last night. I want to see it. I want to see it. And then I want to...
Blake tweeted something so funny to me last night that I gotta read it out loud.
His Twitter cracks me up. He replied back to Millsy about the painting, saying like, "There's a time and place, and maybe a price, like for charity. Like only Blake Moynes would think I'm going to auction off my painting that was blurred out for him to like save the wildlife, which is his passion in life."
Yeah.
It's a classic.
He tweeted to me, "If we were in school together, we'd be in the Zero Fucks Given Club together for sure."
That was after
after the Crunchwrap Supremo and Cutting Stems.
Amazing.
Just me and Blake Moynes and it's just us two.
Yep.
Zero Fucks Given Club. Just me and Blake Moynes.
Never even heard of that club before.
Well, it just started. It's me and Blake Moynes.
Just created
give way
it.
too many fucks. That's why.
Yeah, I do. I care too much.
Me and Blake, we give zero.
It's hilarious.
I'm jealous of that club now.
Blake,
drop all your fucks and you can join.
I won't do it.
You guys don't follow him. The guys all wanted to talk to Katie. This is going into hometown, so it's a big deal. Michael, I think, was the most nervous about it when it came to kids and lifestyle and how things would go on the outside. And Katie seemed to really reassure him. I thought this maybe would have been the moment that Michael would have said, I can't do this anymore, because they did show a brief FaceTime with his son that seemed like it went well. It was not the clip we saw in the coming attraction, so that must happen later.
That must, because I thought that was where that was going to happen.
I know.
But instead it was very
I know. Which
normal.
Makes me think that something else has got to happen, maybe with Fantasy Suites or after that or something where he's like, got to go home. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But like you said, Justin pulled out this giant canvas, like the size of this TV in here, I
Legit.
think.
Maybe bigger.
Of these beautiful butterflies and another rose, and it was blue. And
very conveniently, we did not see him painting that painting.
When did he paint that?
Right. All these guys are just hanging out in the hot tub, I thought.
When did he paint that? Has he been working on that for a while? Now, I did see on Instagram that the guy who sang during Justin and Katie's date, the live performance, the song he sang was called Butterfly.
Okay.
And that's why, and then they're like, oh, he brought the painting with the butterfly. It was like a connection. But so has he been working on this for a week? He clearly didn't do it during the day.
No.
I'd be shocked if that was a one-day painting.
No way.
Couldn't be.
No. He's been working on it. Or somebody's been working on it.
Confusing. But Andrew, they all had great conversations with Katie once again, where Katie was really reassuring all of them and telling them that, she really cares about all of them and excited to see what happens. Michael is the one that got the group date, not the group date rose. Not too shocking, I feel like, because
I thought Andress was going to get that one.
I thought it was going to go to Andress as well, but I think the kid factor plays in a big role. And in Katie's mind, she probably was like, I really need to show Michael that I want him here because now we're coming down to the end and he's worried about, his child.
Right, because then I tweeted this too. When Michael and Katie are on the screen, it's The Bachelor for me. I'm watching to see if Katie is right for Michael.
Yeah.
And I think Katie probably feels that as well. Like, I need to prove to him that I'm in this and that I'm okay with his situation. I understand what it is. So I think that's kind of why he got the group date rose.
Yep. And the last one-on-one date went to Mike P, which, of course, like classic Bachelor fashion, they put the guy who we all know is a virgin into a very awkward physical date where they had to basically just lay on the ground and hug and cuddle in different weird positions.
Yeah.
That was it.
And that's it.
They're really cooking with nothing.
Yes.
In very thin
the
clothing.
Whole date.
Thin
and
clothing.
Of course, like, to make him uncomfortable because he's a virgin, so it's like, all right, let's make them have to touch and make Michael get an awkward boner even though he doesn't know how to use it. Because
that was the meeting. Was like, how do we give Mike a boner?
Yep.
And then they're like, let's do a cuddle date.
How do we take Michael's virginity on this date?
Yeah. How do we put it right in the forefront? Oh, we'll have him cuddle in the woods.
Yeah.
Have some lady pop out and be like, hey,
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then boom.
Yeah.
And then we're literally they're just
poking
in
eye
all
out.
these bizarre positions and talking and chatting. And they really cut it to make it look as uncomfortable as possible. I feel bad for Mike P. He must have felt bad watching it back because they made the whole thing look so awkward because they cut back and forth from them cuddling to Mike in his interview comparing Katie to his mom.
Right.
For a very, very long time.
I think the mistake that Mike made was that at one point during the cuddling date, he said something about his mom, and they were like, all right, somebody ask him questions about his mom so we can splice that shit in.
Remind me of my mom. And she said, oh, geez.
She said, oh, geez.
Did you see what Mike responded to Chicks in the Office comment on Instagram?
No.
No.
Barstool posted about it, him saying the mom stuff, and we wrote hot seat Mike's mom, and he goes, she would eat you girls alive.
What?
With a laughing face.
Do we have beef with Michael's mother now?
It seemed more like, oh, she would kill you guys if she was here.
Yeah, we get it, Michael. You want to fuck your mom, so at every point you'll just gas her up.
He and his mom have a very close relationship, obviously. He went very in depth about their cuddling when he was younger, but it was just the way, and it's just
that
the
was
way
very bizarre.
It's just the way they spliced it together. You can't, for him to talk about, hey, my mom gives great hugs, that's nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure your mom does give great
Doesn't
hugs.
all moms give great hugs?
Yeah, for sure. But when it cuts to him holding Katie in his arms or his head in Katie's lap, that's when,
my mom
of
used
course,
to do
they
this
make
to
it
me.
very bizarre. And he said, my mom's a great cuddler. Katie might be a little better. It was uncomfortable.
Maybe he was using that to kill his boner.
Maybe.
He's just like, oh my gosh, we're cuddling so much. I got to think about something that's
mom.
not sexual. I'm going to think about
Katie
something.
reminds me of my mom.
Yep, you're my mom. And he's just trying to keep his boner down. Just mom, grandma.
That's a good theory.
Glacier.
Grandma, third grade teacher.
Waterfalls. Ice.
Dogs dying.
Yeah.
Anything. All that stuff. And he's just trying to keep it down.
It's a very big possibility.
Something to think about.
It's wild if that's true. For him to say it out loud is kind of crazy.
He seemed like he did seem like a very sweet man, and it does suck because once again, it's another guy who is a virgin on this show who we really don't learn anything about besides being a virgin.
Right. That becomes their entire personality.
Katie posts on her Instagram
I'm sure he's a nice
story.
guy.
Yeah, Katie
For
posted
sure.
on her Instagram story being I wish everybody kind of got to know him better. Because this is, of course, all we got to see.
Right, he becomes just the virgin.
Yep,
And
once
it's
again.
There's definitely more to Mike P, but we're not going to see it.
For sure. So that's where that ended abruptly because Katie, and I give Katie
Can you
props
believe they
because
didn't
she
get to
can't
the dinner
hide
part?
it. Yeah,
right.
she can't hide her emotions. You knew
Usually
as soon
the
as
cuddling
she came
comes
under,
after dinner, so
I know,
it's
she's she comes around the tree, wherever she was, and you can see it on her face. She's already crying. It's oh, and here's the end for Mike P. She says, I don't see this going anywhere. Wouldn't be fair to even have dinner with you. And we got another luggage pull while the men were sitting there.
Man,
unfortunately,
it's just.
I would love to know who that lady was. It was a woman.
Yeah, it's just every time I just got to be more available.
Yeah.
I just have to.
Clear your entire schedule.
Well, there's just been
I want to. I want to clear everything.
There's been a lot of very dramatic, I feel like, luggage pulls this season.
Yeah, they're rubbing it in your face.
So yeah,
right.
Yeah.
They're really.
We've had
turning
guys
it up.
taking their own luggage.
Mills was like, well, if he's not going to do it, we're going to make it the
really
forefront of the. We're going to make it a big deal.
We're going to have a lot of slow zooms on the pieces of luggage.
I want to do it again. Please let me back. I will clear my schedule. I swear.
Please. Oh man. All right, well, hopefully we get it, and hopefully we get it back. This was the end for Mike P. I don't think we were surprised about that either. These top 4 or 5 guys felt like they were pretty set in stone for a while, except when we all got thrown this curveball of Justin. So let's get into that. But first, sunglasses these days are so expensive. You go into a store, you pick up a pair, $200, $300. You don't understand why they are that expensive. Shady Rays, also, they didn't get it either. So they made affordable sunglasses. Shady Rays are premium polarized shades at a fraction of the price of those big name brands. You don't need to overpay for sunglasses that don't hold up in the outdoors. Maybe you're on the beach or you're hiking or any of those things and you drop them. You want them to be durable and last. And those expensive ones sometimes don't do that. The craziest thing about Shady Rays is their warranty. They have one of the strongest warranties in all of eyewear. Replacements if your shades are lost or broken for any reason. It doesn't matter what happens. Dropped in the ocean, stepped on, lost, whatever it is, they will replace them. Even with that strong of a warranty, they still manage to make quality that we can tell you seems just as good as any expensive pair that we have worn. Polarized lens that look perfectly clear. They start at just $48. Shady Rays also provides 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order placed and have donated over 15 million meals to date. They stand behind their product and told our team that if anyone has a problem, they throw profit out the window and do what it takes to get it right. Free returns and exchanges. You either love the shades or Shady Rays will pay to ship them back. Change the way you wear sunglasses and join the team that has your back for life. Shady Rays is running their deepest deal of the season exclusively for us. It's a great deal, guys. Use code CITO for 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com. Buy one, get one free. You can get 2 pairs for $48. You can redeem this only at shadyrays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades. What a rose ceremony. I was shocked. And Katie tweeted right before the last rose saying okay, now time for me to log off Twitter for the next 2 to 3 days. So I'm like, oh no, what is she about to do? She would not tweet that if she picked Andrew. There's no way.
No.
So I thought it was going to be incredibly obvious. She's going to take Blake, going to take Andrew, but she gave Blake the first rose and then gave the second one to Justin. I don't understand.
We didn't learn a single thing about Justin, and I brought this up on Cutting Stems, was that they did have the wedding vow date, and we hated that date so much that maybe we missed the connection there, because
we might have.
We just shit on the whole entire thing.
We didn't really think
about them as a couple. Yeah, we just were like, fuck this date. They're faking it. They hate each other. They don't know each other. And turns out she picks Justin over Andrew. Everyone's shocked. And now it's Andrew for Bachelor, because people just can't wrap their head around this. And I think it's also kind of similar to how we felt about when Tayshia sent Blake home, and she was so distraught about sending Blake home that we were like, it's opposite. No, but it's meaning just wait, you had this strong of a connection with Blake? Right. You just miss a plot line.
Right. But I don't even think Katie agrees with her own decision.
Didn't seem like it.
She said it afterwards, being like, this is the one decision I made all season that I didn't totally trust what I was doing. And it's because Andrew S. is the guy you should have picked instead of Justin.
I weirdly think that maybe lifestyle-wise is where things went for her. I think maybe she was thinking more long-term. Justin might have been a little bit more stable, even though she told Andrew during the group date, I'll go with you wherever we need to be. But, he lives out of the United States. He plays football in Austria. Like,
But he told her he would give that up.
Yes, I know. But I think, like...
Do you really want to give that up, though?
Yeah, I think it's like...
Playing
then
football in Austria?
No, but then it's like, do you want... Oh,
Sounds
the
sick.
shade. Oh.
Sorry, Andrew.
I'm with no. If I'm going to be playing football, I want to be playing it stateside.
Absolutely, but I think that there's like such a love... Like... There's guys have such a love for the sport they're playing
do.
sometimes that I feel like if you're Katie, you're like, well, I don't want to be the girl that he like gives up football for.
Right, and if it doesn't work out in the end.
Yeah, true.
So maybe that came into play. I didn't really know, but I was absolutely floored.
Married with kids later on in life, and he's like balding and he's fat on the
Should have
couch.
stayed in Austria.
Damn, I miss football.
Really should have stayed in Austria. So Justin gets the rose. The next morning, we have no idea what's happening. There's 20 minutes left in the episode. We're like, what could possibly be going on?
Happened at 9:40.
Yeah,
I remember looking at my clock being like, something's going to happen here.
Yes. So the next morning, Andrew shows up before he leaves, and he sits down with Katie, and it's very, they're smiling. It's emotional, but he's like, just the relationship that we had, I want to end it on a good note, smiles, have this not end like as sad as it did last night. Seemed fine. He leaves again, walks out, hands her a note. Says, open this after I leave. He walks down. She takes 2 steps inside, opens it, and immediately she is distraught. Like,
seriously.
I've never seen someone, I like, wish I had a piece of paper. I want to take John's phone. She like opened it. It's two lines. And she was like, like dropped it on the table.
I tell you, I walked out of the room for a second and I heard this and I was like, are they having sex? And I walked back in the room and they were both sobbing. I was like, oh no, this took a turn.
Like, sorry, Trent, I'll give you your phone back.
That's okay.
But she reads it and it was like, oh my God. And he wrote, if you change your mind, I'll be waiting. Smiley face. She
you
drops
don't like the smiley face?
No, I mean,
A heart?
Yeah, I like the smiley face, but it's like, then he didn't stay.
Right.
Right.
And this was a big point of contention with what I saw on Twitter. Like, he didn't stay, even though he said, I'll be waiting if you change your mind. She changes her mind, sort of, and says, do you want to stay? Do you want to leave? And he says, no. What I think he maybe should have done is given her the envelope and then said,
envelope.
Did I say that wrong?
No, that was fancy.
Oh.
What do you say, envelope?
Yeah.
Envelope.
Envelope.
I say envelope as well. Yeah.
Oh, I say envelope.
I'm not sure which one I say, but I definitely went with
What do you say?
envelope.
You say envelope.
You just said it, and you said envelope.
Do you say aunt instead of aunt?
Aunt.
Yeah, aunt.
That makes sense.
I say aunt, though.
Oh, okay.
I think
know your theories thrown out the window.
Ask me tomorrow, and I bet I'd say envelope. Envelope, that just came out for some reason. But he could have said, open this envelope.
Yeah.
If things don't work out.
Right.
Don't open it as soon as I walk
what? You can't give a girl that kind of time bomb. No way.
I'm opening it even faster than Katie did last
Right.
night.
No, but it would have made more sense with his logic.
If the front of the envelope said, open if this doesn't work out.
It's like
ripping it open.
It's like a fire extinguisher break if there's a
Guess
fire.
what? It didn't work out.
No, but I understand that I would open it fast too, but it would make more sense with his decision that he made last night.
I really think that he made up his mind. He had a whole night to think about it. It was like, I'm going home. She did not pick me. And I think he thought the note would be like a really sweet way to say, like, I think we had a great connection, would love to, see each other on the outside, even if it's not like I'll be waiting is very misleading because it's like, you're not going to date anyone. It's like, I'll be waiting for you.
That whole thing came off as like, I don't know if I believe that was all real.
Yeah,
it seems so rom-com, like running down the hallway. He turns around like slowly, like, what?
Yeah, she's like, where'd he go? She can't find him down the staircase.
They're probably like, Andrew, slow down. Like,
and so she really does give him like if you could stay, like, he doesn't want to. And that I very much understand. The note is confusing because why leave the note if, you're not trying to make things work. But he got his ass sent home. It's been who knows how many hours, probably 12 hours. Like, it's like, okay, she's second guessing it, but I don't want to be like the fifth choice.
That I get. That I do understand totally. Yeah. Him saying no, if given that situation, him saying no makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, because if you agree to come back, you know that you are in fifth place in her mind right now. Like you are, like she wants you there, but if she had to pick 4 others, you wouldn't be on the list.
How did she pick Justin?
I have no idea.
How?
No idea.
Because I think even if
Justin,
let's say, and he seems like a nice guy.
he seems so nice.
He does.
He's given us tons of comedic moments with the facial expressions and everything, but that's all we know about him.
But let's be real. If Andrew decides to come back, he's 4th place at worst. Like,
yes, Blake, Greg, and Michael are all ahead of them. Justin
right.
And Andrew.
Right. So at this point, it's like, why even stay?
Exactly.
Well,
he knows he's going. Like he knew it wasn't.
She even said like, oh, do you want to see like if you can stay for a little longer? Right. She didn't even be like.
And it wasn't even like
a little longer. Like,
oh, I'll send you home next week.
It wasn't even like one rose. She had the opportunity to give Andrew the group date rose, and she didn't. And she didn't give him the rose in the rose ceremony.
She didn't like Andrew. She only liked the note. Let's just be honest.
She did like Andrew.
She did like Andrew, but she liked Andrew way more when he left her that note.
Thinking about where their relationship was in comparison to the other guys, I think he's not 4th. I'd say he's 2 behind, maybe behind Greg.
Yeah, we saw a ton of their relationship, their conversations, actually talking about
like some very serious
the real
stuff.
Life, 100%, and very real life stuff, which makes me think that like after Katie sent him home, producers were like, we're gonna give Andrew the fucking best edit on planet Earth, and hopefully he's our next Bachelor. You know?
And because nobody, I agree with that.
You got a phenomenal edit.
Oh, it was so good. But like nobody thinks that Michael's actually going to win this season.
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think Michael's
because I don't think that's what Katie really wants. She likes Michael. To me,
it's got to be Greg or Blake.
I think it's Greg or Blake.
And I think Greg and Blake are like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So that's why I think this is not going to end well for Katie.
I think that Greg. I think that Greg heads out and she's with Blake.
Yeah, I'm nervous about Blake though too. I don't know, because Blake, like, he says he'll get there and it's like happening, the falling in love, but he's just not there yet. But Katie and Blake, to be honest, make the most sense to me
I see
in real life.
Way more.
Yeah, I agree.
I see Blake and Katie way more than I see Greg and Katie because, like we said, we're not really getting anything from Greg. But I feel like we are getting stuff from Blake. Like, at least Blake is being honest and we can, like, kind of feel something from him.
Yeah.
I don't really think we're feeling anything from Greg.
Like, I think, should pick Blake. I would think it was amazing if they're like currently right now just like sitting on the couch together, both like tweeting about the show.
Right, yeah.
You know?
It would be
like
unreal.
It would be very on brand for the two of them.
Yeah.
It's just like the weirdness of Katie like describing how she felt like after the season, that I was like, ooh, did this end well or not well? I can't really tell.
I keep bringing that up about on our show, she was like, yeah, I'm happy. And it was like, are you? And then on Nick Viall's podcast, Nikki V, I don't even know why I said his full name. You guys know it's Nikki V. She said that she did get her heart broken on this show.
Yeah.
So I think that only means that somebody ends up not wanting to be with her.
I could also see Katie like talking about one of the guys leaving being like heartbreaking for her.
Well, then that's just stupid because that's not a real heartbreak.
Yeah. I know. I agree with you, but I could see Katie saying that. So
it's like when Matt James said Tyler like fell for one of the girls, and it was like fell for someone, and it was a fake thing.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that we're not going to have a final 3 of Blake, Greg, and Andrew.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
I really thought that was it. Shocking. So we're going into hometowns with Blake, Greg, Michael, and Justin. Hopefully we learn some more about Justin when his family shows up.
It would make more sense if it was Aaron.
Yeah, literally. Or Trey.
Anybody.
Hunter, even.
Hunter,
Thomas. So
these are people I know.
Yeah. So we're going into hometowns. We'll see what happens. I feel super clueless. I really have no idea. Not quite sure the format next week because there is going to be hometowns and men tell all.
Yeah, the teaser was confusing.
1 night, 2 nights, half of one night.
There's
each.
no rhyme or reason anymore.
No.
To when these air, what weeks.
Yeah,
what
I just
days.
show up Monday at 8 p.m. and see where the night takes me.
Right. Hopefully it's on.
That's it. So
Emily Moynes.
Emily Moynes, baby.
Emily, let's just end this by giving a round of applause for Emily.
I'm so excited.
We love
for
you,
Emily
babes.
Moynes, and fingers crossed Trent shows up as Blake's stepdad in the episode.
It could happen.